Let's get more now on that embarrassing failure for Donald Trump, which has been hailed a victory for the American people by Nancy Pelosi, the Democratic leader of the House of Representatives. Anneke E is a former advisor to George W. Bush and joins me now by Skype. The word embarrassing has been used a lot today, hasn't it, Anneke? I mean, he did make so much about this, didn't he, in the campaign trail? And it is a moment of embarrassment for him, isn't it?
It is a moment of embarrassment. I don't think it will ultimately dog him with his supporters. But yes, right now he's not feeling good in the White House, particularly since I think a lot of his assumptions were put to the test and turned out not to be true.
What do you put it down to then? Did he just underestimate the scale of the task in hand? Did he not know who his supporters were? What's the problem here?
Well, the thing that's really interesting about this is his supporters in the House were the ones who wouldn't give him the votes. The House Freedom Caucus, which was led by people and members of that caucus are people whose districts overwhelmingly went for President Trump, were the ones who said, we can't go there. This bill leaves too much of Obama's original bill in place. And despite lots of wooing from President Trump personally, from Vice President Pence personally, they just didn't get there.
So they would rather see him embarrassed than help him get some of the reforms that they wanted.
Well, they don't want to go forward with a package that doesn't go far enough with the conservative ideology. And one of the things that would be left in place is the assumption that the government is responsible to provide health care for people. And it also rewarded certain states who opted into the program and let them keep money that they'd taken, and then required other states who never took the money. It's sort of punishing them for hewing to the conservative ideology that they would have wanted them to use in the first place.
What does he do now then? How can he get his party together? He's talking about wanting to focus now on tax reform. He's got to start moving on from this, hasn't he? Put it behind him, perhaps. What does he do to get them together, to get them to support him?
Well, he has to ultimately come out with conservative policy. I think he needs to do a better job understanding the process. This really showed that his assumptions about being president, which were, I'll come, I'll tell them what needs to be done, we'll negotiate. He was in full negotiation mode. It didn't work because the details weren't there. What was in the package wasn't what conservatives who have taken multiple votes on this since Obamacare was passed and opposed it, they just weren't going to give it up that easily and say, oh, okay, we'll pass a compromise. And he started to get trouble from moderate Republicans as well when they started trying to amend the package to please some of those more conservative members. So moving forward, he's got to keep in mind that there is a process, that there are a lot of relationships on Capitol Hill and a lot of history with members going back and forth that he needs to be aware of. And it's not going to be enough for him just to say, we're going to vote on it now and vote the way I want you to.
Okay, good to talk to you. Thanks very much. That's Anneke E, a former advisor to George W. Bush, joining us live. Thanks very much.